humanity spent a lot of time and generations looking at the occult sciences. So back to the spectrum that I was talking about, the polarities. You've got religion on one hand, scientific materialism on the other hand. So what's in between in the occult is it's the study of what's in between. Hi, I'm Aaron Tomlinson, and in this video, I want to talk to you about the occult and what is it. I think probably the occult is really misunderstood. I know when I was a pastor, when I was a Christian, I viewed the occult as something very dark and demonic and evil, something that was very contrary to God. And kind of this idea floats around that the occult, or if you're an occultist or talk about the occult, that somehow you're into Satan worship, you're into dark magic, you're into putting curses on people and stuff like that. When I started to go through my deconstruction and open my heart and my mind to other spiritual traditions, other spiritual paths, I was quite the spiritual tourist for a long time. I went to metaphysical fairs, I studied shamanism, I studied various forms of magic, and ultimately began to look at the occult. And I was shocked by what I found when I began to read, especially some of the older occult literature. And I was also shocked to discover how much that the occult philosophers and thinkers from the 16th century onward were very devout in the church, very devout Christians, and that they had dedicated their lives in service to God. This was totally contrary to everything I had previously believed or thought about the occult. So I thought I would start by just reading the definition from Wikipedia about what the occult is, because this definition, I think, describes it well and resonates with me the best based on my studies. So it says here in Wikipedia, the occult, in the broadest sense, is a category of esoteric supernatural beliefs and practices which generally fall outside the scope of organized religion and science, encompassing phenomena involving otherworldly agency such as magic and mysticism and their varied spells. It can also refer to supernatural ideas like extrasensory perception and parapsychology. So the term occult is a Latin term that means the study of that which is hidden, or more accurately, the study of that which cannot be seen, the study of that which is invisible. The term became popular in the Western world and in America in the 19th century and Western Europe through the writings of a woman known as Madame Blavatsky. She was the founder of Theosophy. And she popularized the idea of the occult, or the term the occult. She didn't originate it. She just kind of introduced it to the Western world, and it really caught on and took off. And so we can think about the occult by comparing it to two major areas of our life that we're familiar with, and that is religion and science. And we can see religion and science as two ends of a spectrum. In religion, we have the study of God, we have theology, we have ideas that are propagated about how we should live, basically based on the idea of a source or a creator or a God, and really hinges on what we do in this life affects us in the afterlife. So it's a study of that highest plane of reality, if you believe that that exists, right? Even if it doesn't exist, though, the ideas that are circulated are strictly about God, creator, morality, the afterlife, things like that. Those are things that religion has in common, right? All religions. They don't agree, but that's what they're looking at. On the other end of the spectrum is science, or what I've been calling scientific materialism in some of the videos that I've been doing. And scientific materialism is based on the belief that the only thing that exists is matter and energy. That's it. That's all there is. And it's based on reason. It's based on measurement. It's based on empirical study. And it is the predominant worldview of most people today, even people who aren't atheists or who claim to have some faith in a God or whatever. For the most part, our thinking and our lives and our ideas are governed under this concept of scientific materialism. Now, the history of science, the scientific revolution and the Age of Enlightenment is pretty interesting because it was a political movement. The Age of Enlightenment was primarily a social political movement that was seeking to literally dethrone the monarchs, the monarchy, and also the superiority of religion. So you can think about it like a movement that was designed to change culture, to change society, to move us away from monarchies and to move us towards reason and rationale and scientific materialism. And, you know, I've talked a lot on this channel about what I believe are the dangers of religion and how a lot of religion can be toxic, not for everybody and not in all of its forms, but we've talked a lot about that. But it's not predominant anymore, not like it was in previous centuries in the Western world. While the Catholic Church still has influence around the world, it's nothing like what it was centuries ago, right? And now what's predominant in culture is scientific materialism, which has sort of, in my opinion, created its own religion and has its own consequences, which I think are also unhealthy. We've made a lot of progress with technology, but I think in the process, we've lost the soul. We've lost our humanity. You know, it's scary sometimes to think about how disconnected we are, how we all connect through devices, how we all connect on social media. And also, you know, AI is a hot topic right now, artificial intelligence. What is that going to do to jobs? What is that going to do to society as that becomes more and more predominant? And what are we doing to the environment? I mean, there are lots of negative consequences to saying, I'm just going to stay over here in scientific materialism. I'm going to stay with reason and logic and rationalism. And again, I think we lose a lot of really important stuff about what it means to be human. We get so focused on the quantities and the numbers, which is what science is all about, but we're losing so much of our qualities that makes us human. Now, I don't want to go back to religion. I'm not going back to religion, but I'm also not going to get steeped in scientific materialism. So what does that leave? Well, the occult then is a nice third way for me to go on my path, right? And again, like I said, I experimented and toured a lot of various different things. The New Age movement, it's really popular, but for me, it doesn't, and this is just my opinion, while it has a lot of good things in it, a lot of good elements in it, I'm thankful for my experience with it, it doesn't have a tradition or a history or a well-trodden path that humanity has taken. Unlike shamanism, which is the oldest spiritual religious practice known to humanity, and unlike occultism, which, like I said, really caught on about the 16th century. And so humanity spent a lot of time and generations looking at the occult sciences. So back to the spectrum that I was talking about, the polarities, you've got religion on one hand, scientific materialism on the other hand. So what's in between in the occult is it's the study of what's in between, what might exist between heaven and earth that is invisible. Now, science and scientific materialism deals with observation. It deals with measurements. It deals with what can be seen, what can be quantified, and does a terrific job of explaining the natural world. So as someone who studies the occult, we can look at science and we can say science does an amazing job of studying the material plane and really manipulating and using the material plane to improve our lives, for there to be progress. Where I take issue with it is that what I'm saying is it's not the only thing. It's not the only plane of reality. It's not the only level of reality. So all occult systems have that in common, this belief that there are planes of reality, layers of reality, if you will, aspects of reality that are not the material plane. In other words, we're saying the material plane is not all that there is. So that's the first thing. Occult is the study of the things that are in between. Again, going back to that definition that I read you from Wikipedia. But the other thing that all occult systems have in common is the recognition that the exploration of these other layers or levels of reality take place in consciousness. They take place in the mind. And so it's the study of how to create changes within ourselves in states of consciousness in order to have other experiences, or even in the case of magic, how to make changes on the natural plane by exploring those states of mind and changing those states of mind. So I hope this little video has been helpful for you. If you like this, I would like to start doing a series of videos talking about the occult and occult fundamentals and looking at various different occult phenomena and occult systems. So if I get a good response to this, if you guys want to see more of this stuff, put it in the comments below, because I'm here for you. This channel's here to help and to serve you. And if I'm talking about stuff that is not doing that, then obviously I don't want to do that. Thank you for taking time to watch this, and I will see you again soon.